The first time an Ashaninka man told me that he had learned the medicinal properties of plants by drinking a hallucinogenic brew, I thought he was joking. We were in the forest, squatting next to a bush whose leaves, he claimed, could cure the bite of a deadly snake. "One learns these things by drinking ayahuasca," he said. But he was not smiling. It was early 1985 in the community of Kirishari in the Peruvian Amazon's Pichis Valley. I was 25 years old and starting a 2-year period of fieldwork to obtain a doctorate in anthropology from Stanford University. My training had led me to expect that people would tell tall stories. I thought my job as an anthropologist was to discover what they really thought, like some kind of private detective. During my research on Ashaninka ecology, people in Kirishari regularly mentioned the hallucinatory world of ayahuasqueros, or shamans. In conversations about plants, animals, land, or the forest, they would refer to ayahuasqueros as the source of knowledge. Each time I would ask myself what they really meant when they said this. I had read and enjoyed several books by Carlos Castaneda on the uses of hallucinogenic plants by a Yaqui sorcerer, but I knew that the anthropological profession had largely discredited Castaneda, accusing him of implausibility, plagiarism, and fabrication. Though no one explicitly blamed him for getting too close to his subject matter, it seemed clear that a subjective consideration of indigenous hallucinogens could lead to problems within the profession. For me, in 1985, the ayahuasqueros world represented a gray area that was taboo for the research I was conducting. Furthermore, my investigation on Ashaninka resource use was not neutral. In the early 1980s, international development agencies were pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into the development of the Peruvian Amazon. This consisted of confiscating indigenous territories and turning them over to market-oriented individuals, who would then develop the jungle by replacing it with cow pastures. Experts justified these colonization and deforestation projects by saying that Indians didn't know how to use their lands rationally. I wanted to argue the contrary by doing an economic, cultural, and political analysis showing the rational nature of Ashaninka resource use. To emphasize the hallucinatory origin of Ashaninka ecological knowledge would have been counterproductive to the main argument underlying my research. After 2 months in the field, I experienced an unexpected setback. I had left Kirishari for 10 days to renew my visa in Lima. On returning to the community, I was met with indifference. The following day, during an informal meeting in front of the house I was staying in, people asked whether it was true that I was going to return to my country to become a doctor. The question surprised me, as I usually described my future profession as anthropologist rather than doctor to avoid any confusion with medical practitioner. It turned out that several employees of the government's development project, the Pichis Palkazu Special Project, had come to Kirishari in my absence and inquired about my activities. In answer, the people showed them my file containing samples of medicinal plants. The project employees then scolded the inhabitants of Kirishari for being naive Indians. Did they not realize that I was going to become a doctor and make a fortune with their plants?